Cavs won their 14th straight last night, beating the Bucks despite Giannis dropping 30. SA, how do you feel about those Cleveland Cavaliers?
Same way I felt last week, week before that, week before that, week before that. They are the #1 threat to the Boston Celtics. This team is loaded. And listen, Mobley has improved himself. Donovan Mitchell is a superstar in this league. I don't know what people watch it. This brother's special. Darius Garland's balling this year, significantly better. Jared Allen is healthy. He's on the basketball court. They're formidable defensively. They have athletes. They have size. You acquired DeAndre Hunter from Atlanta. You have a wing defender who can put up 18 and 19 a game, who's been shooting better than 50% from threes since he arrived in Cleveland from Atlanta. And oh, by the way, he arrived from Atlanta to Cleveland, Molly, 12 games ago. The Cleveland Cavaliers are 12-0. They haven't lost a game with Hunter in the lineup. They have everything. And Boston, of course, Boston should still be the favorite. But a Boston fully loaded should be the favorite. You better have Porzingis. You better have Jrue Holiday. You better have Derek White with Tatum and Brown. You better have them. Because if you don't, the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to the finals.
This was an important game for Milwaukee. Milwaukee has struggled against all the top teams in the East this year. It was a back-to-back for them, but still, they played their guys.
0-8 against the top 3 teams in the country.
They were 0-3 against the Cavs.
And now 0-9.
Darius Garland did not play well in this game. Donovan Mitchell did not shoot. He played well, but didn't shoot well. The two of them, 2 of 15 on threes.
Right.
Still go into Milwaukee and win. That's the thing about
convincingly.
That's the thing about this Cavs team. Like, this 14-game win streak, they've had some games where they just haven't played that well. They've gone down to the wire against some below-average teams, but they win every game. They figured out a way to win every game.
Shannon, they started off the season 15-0. In between December and January, they had a 12-game winning streak, and now they're on the verge of having their second 15-game winning streak of the season. That's who Cleveland is, Shannon.
Yeah. If we go back and look, if we look at the top 3 teams, and I think in all estimations, I think we can get some unanimity on this one, Wendy, is that you look at OKC, you look at Boston, you look at the Cavs. The one thing that they all have in common is depth in the bench. You look at a Ty Jerome, you look at a DeAndre Hunter, you look at a Merrill for the Cavs. You look at what the OKC Thunder trot out there. They just won a game, and they didn't start anybody. The Shea was take the night off, Jalen Williams took the night off, Holmgren took the night off, and Hartenstein took the night off, and they still won. And we see the same thing happen to Boston, and you see Peyton Pritchard and Derek White both score 40. The first time in Celtic history, 2 guys scored 40 points in the same game, and they combined for 19 made threes. That is what separates them, because when their starters are not playing well, their bench players can come in, and anybody off that bench, DeAndre Hunter can give you 30. Peyton Pritchard, you saw him give you 30. You see Wiggins go give you 30 the other night. That's what separates these 3 teams, I believe, from everybody else in the NBA. Their starters are really good, but their bench is outstanding.
Shannon, we don't have time to get into this. I just want to drop something on you just for you to think about, because Wendy and I were talking about this last week. Just for you to think about it, you can answer it another day. What do you prefer? Okay. I'm giving you 4 options. LA, Boston, NBA Finals. LA, Cleveland, NBA Finals. OKC, Boston, NBA Finals. OKC, Cleveland, NBA Finals. That's the best game of the year for the regular season. I'm just saying, think about it.
It's either Lakers, Boston, or Lakers, Cavs. Anything with LeBron James in an NBA Final is a very, very compelling storyline, Wendy, and you know that.
All right. Well, which one is it? Is it more compelling for Boston 18 titles, LA 17 titles? Is that more compelling, or is LeBron going up against Cleveland trying to thwart their efforts to capture another championship? Which one's more interesting?
Probably Cleveland.
Okay.
I think OKC is winning the West, but that would be like brother on brother. Yeah. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Some people say LA Boston, but I got y'all.
Guys, I love that quick take. So fast. Sharpe, talk to me. Who had the better weekend, OKC or Boston?
I'm going to go OKC. Like I said, the other night, they gave their top 4 guys the night off, and it was their role players that did the job, and they won. And they won yesterday. It's how they won. With a 41-point fourth quarter against the Denver Nuggets. And look, we know Denver is not an outstanding defensive team, But man, Shea doing what he does, you get Jalen Williams, and you got 3 or 4 guys off the bench that can consistently give you 20 points. They've been very impressive. Like Leg said when he was talking last night, they've been equally as impressive because it looks like we're gonna have 2 teams, Wendy, that might win 70 games. We've never had that before. But OKC, with the way they're playing in shape, most 20, 30, 40, 50-point games, the consistency in which he's playing. Jalen Williams looked like he's going to be an all-NBA player this year. They got 2 big guys that can battle you on the glass, that can challenge shots, and defensively, they can defend on the wing. You bring in Isaiah Joe, Wiggins can score. You got Lou Dort. Man, OKC, I was very, very impressed. I got 5 on it.
How about Jason Tatum this weekend?
Sensational.
You know, last week they had that
on LeBron and Luka. 40.
They lost that game to Cleveland. They've got some issues with the way they can hold the lead. That's why they're vulnerable. But Tatum scores 46 in that game against Cleveland last weekend. This weekend, the Lakers are flying high. He comes in there just, you know what? Here's the thing. I don't even think he played an A-level game.
He did it.
I mean, you know, he had 40. Tremendous. And also, I applaud Shannon for pointing out the depth because he is exactly right. The difference between these teams at the top and the teams that are fighting to get there is that depth. And Al Horford is a piece of that depth. This is a guy who's about to turn 39 years old, who was the centerpiece of a game plan against one of the hottest teams in the league. And it was very prudent, and it worked very well. They used Al Horford as a weapon. They didn't have Kristaps Porzingis because he's been dealing with an illness. They need a big man against the Lakers, and they can just go to that gear with Al Horford. He can't do this every night. They don't need him to do it every night. But this is why the Celtics are going to be so hard to beat 4 out of 7, because they have the ability to go to an Al Horford. They have the availability to use Drew Holiday as an attack dog defensively. They have the availability to rely on Derek White when Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are having off nights. They have Peyton Pritchard come off the bench. Their redundancy and their margin for error is why, to me, they have remained the favorite to win this entire season.
I get where you're coming from. I understand it. But I'm going to go with OKC on this one. Did you see Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who also didn't have the greatest game?
That's true.
But he still dropped 40.
He did.
Do you see, Malika Andrews came up with the nickname Shea Butter. I love it. Because, the brothers, but he is so special. This is who it is, MVP to be. Okay, should have been. He was my MVP last year. He's going to be my MVP this year. He's going to win it this year because he deserves it. And then you see Jalen Williams. I called upon him to come alive in the second half because SGA needs your help, baby. What does he do? He shows up in the second half. He does his thing. You see they got size. They got shot blocking ability. They've got defensive prowess. Look at this right here. NBA rankings in defense and hustle categories. Number 1 in defensive efficiency, field goal percentage defense, 3-point percentage defense, steals per game, turnovers forced per game, points off turnovers per game, deflections per game, loose balls recovered per game, charges drawn per game. Damn. This is the Oklahoma City Thunder. So I get what you're saying. OKC, UFC, KFC. OKC in 5.
How about
OKC in 5.
SGA MVP?
Yes, I'm just saying.
Wanna try to boast at what I look like. Think I'm gonna try to wear I pull up all brains. Jimmy with the heat, I'm on fire. It's NBA over here.